Hey guys, I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. You know, BlackBerry is really moving ahead with the different form factors. You know, they tried the Torch, physical QWERTY keyboard, touchscreen. They did the Pearl Flip, or they're back at it again with another clamshell device, the BlackBerry Style. It's available on Sprint now for $99.99 after a $100 mail-in rebate. And you know, it's a pretty decent mid-range smartphone. So since this is BlackBerry 6, it does have a WebKit-enabled browser, but it's interesting to see how it works without this being a touchscreen device. So to do that, we'll go in, you know, and where there's no pinch to zoom, there's nothing like that. You have to utilize the trackpad for everything. Actually, I did CNN. I'm going to do the full site, though, because it loads mobile by default. But you can get an idea. You know, you have to go back to the old physical zoom by clicking on the trackpad. So for people that love web browsing or people that are media buffs, this may not be the best device for you. But for people that are messaging fans and send and receive a lot of emails, text messages, IMs, things like that, this could be the perfect device for you. So it all depends on what you're interested in doing. Let's go to the full site. And while that's loading, it's funny, while I'm holding it right here for the camera and I'm having to do exactly what I talked about earlier, trying to hold it to where it doesn't hit the tripod, but show you the screen. So a little bit, again, that hinge is great for when you're on phone calls, but a little frustrating when you're trying to use the camera and trying to hold it close to you. Let's see. So you can see, you know, it's starting to get a little choppy, a little laggy. Now this has a 624 megahertz processor, so it's running the same processor that the Bold 9700, the Torch 9800, and I believe the Bold 9650 as well. Yeah, all running the same processor that those devices have. That said, it's a little bit laggy. I suffered from the same checkerboard issue in the browser on this one that I did from the Torch 9800. The lag is not bad, but it's something I noticed all throughout using the device. If you know, sometimes it would slow down and stutter for a second or two. You know, intermediate device users, they're not going to notice this at all, and they may notice it every now and again, but for people that review devices every day or that have several cell phones, that have gone through several cell phones, I think it's noticeable. You can see I just zoomed in by pressing down the trackpad, and still waiting for that to load. There we go. So you can see, and you can see, I mean, there's the checkerboard issue in effect right there. I mean, I'm just scrolling down. So a little frustrating. You can use the menu to zoom in and out like that, and then, like, you know, let's say scroll up a little bit here. But you can see, I mean, just very lagging, kind of stuttery, particularly in the web browser and stuff that strains the processor a little bit more than typical everyday tasks. You'll see. Let's go up to CNN Heroes, for example, and zoom in on that. And you zoom in by putting your cursor in the general area that you'd like to zoom in on. Going to menu, hit the BlackBerry key, and clicking on zoom from there. Now you can open this link in a new tab, and just like the Torch 9800, it has a pretty decent tab menu, if you will. Let's see what tabs we have open. You can see why sharing is a beautiful thing. Sharing is a beautiful thing. The CNN homepage, and then a new tab. We can open up a new tab and go from there. So, you know, not the best web browsing experience in the world. If you're coming from iOS, you're coming from Android or WebOS, something that's a little bit more rich in terms of web browsing, it's not great. That said, if you're coming from a BlackBerry with OS 5.0, it's not bad. It's an improvement, but it still doesn't hold a candle to, you know, some of the other more media-centric devices on the market. This is a 2.7-inch display. I think for a 2.7-inch display, it does an impeccable job. You know, that said, the people that are used to 4-inch displays, well, probably aren't even looking at this device as a potential purchase. But if they are, or if you are, I should say, it may not be the device for you. You know, it's a little bit smaller display. The screen looks great. The colors pop. It looks good. But, you know, it's noticeably small, particularly when browsing the web or doing things where that screen real estate would really come in handy. So, you know, this may not, if you're interested in the screen real estate, this may not be the device for you. Now, on the camera front, it has a 5-megapixel camera with a flash, as I said before. And it's a decent camera. It's I've been very pleased with it thus far. No, I don't want YouTube. Go to camera. And let's do a sample picture of, never quite know what I'm going to bring out, of this little iPhone adapter module. Now you'll see, you know, one thing, I don't know if you saw it on the camera, but the placement of the camera is right on the top of this back piece. And so the initial thing that you'll notice is you like to keep your hand there and it blocks the camera. So you have to keep your fingers down at a low point to take the picture. And then when you come back up to take the picture, see what I just did? It covers it. So it took a little bit of getting used to there, and I'm still doing it. But we'll hold this up. And there it is. It's a relatively decent picture. It looks good on the display. And for a 5-megapixel camera, I'm pleased. It's not bad at all. Autofocus, zoom, and quite a few editing options as well. But definitely a decent picture. Did a good job of zooming in on the module and pulling away the desk and the background. So, for a mid-range device, it's $100 out the door. Not a bad camera at all. Or $100 after rebates, rather, not a bad camera. So one more thing I want to highlight is RIM's social feeds application. And what that is, very much like Android, it's a social networking aggregator that brings together your Twitter, your Facebook, IM, BlackBerry Messenger, anything that has social connectivity of some sort, brings it all into one program for you and gives you updates as a result. So you can see out of the box right now, it's just social filter and my RSS filter, but I can go to options, I can go to display, and you can see I have integrated applications, AIM, BlackBerry Messenger, Facebook, Google Talk, MySpace, Twitter, Windows Live Messenger, and Yahoo Messenger. So when I add those when I install those and get my username set up, it'll automatically synchronize with social feeds, and I can get all of my stuff in one place. So it's a nice touch, something different. It's nice to see RIM pushing at the people, the social networking users, and not just the business crowd. And especially with a device like the Style that's ideally or is likely geared towards the prosumer, the consumer, the soccer mom, the teenager. People that aren't in the boardroom all the time or rarely in the boardroom, if ever. Social Feeds is a good program to have on the device. So that's the BlackBerry Style 9650 with Sprint. It's available now for $99.99 after a $100 mail-in rebate. And all in all, it's a decent mid-range smartphone. It's not going to compete, as I've said before, with iOS, with Android, with some of the WebOS devices, or some of the maybe even Windows Phone 7. But it's a good device. It's a nice mid-range device. It's a good attempt by RIM to continue their foothold in the prosumer market and the consumer market. And it's available, in my opinion, at a relatively reasonable price. Much more coverage coming on the Style on PhoneDog.com. In the meantime, be sure to like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're doing a 100 iPad giveaway right now and some Super Bowl tickets as well. Go to Facebook.com/PhoneDog for more information. Sign up, and who knows, maybe you could win. We have editor chats as well. So we're a pretty fun group of people. Head on over to Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Like us. We'd certainly appreciate it. And follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.